I'd like to acknowledge that this episode was filmed on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting grounds and gathering place to the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. I acknowledge the ancestors whose footsteps have marked these lands for millennia. Hello, my name is Kirsten and this is the Mardeana Knits podcast. Welcome back if you happen to watch my first episode. If you are a new viewer, welcome. Thank you for joining. Very excited to have you here. I am primarily a knitter, just like my sweater says. I'm primarily a knitter. However, I started out as a crocheter first, but knitting has taken my heart and I have just been running with it. And so I started up this podcast just to kind of keep track of the projects as I go, and then also to put myself a little deeper into the knitting community. Everyone that I have had the privilege of meeting up until now has been so awesome. So I want to put myself out there a little bit more. As an adult, I tended to turn into a bit of an introvert. That's totally different than the extrovert that I was in my youth. Today I am just drinking just a regular hot coffee. I have some cream in here, and I like to buy the fancy syrups at the Italian Center. This one I think is French vanilla. I like a nice and really milky, sweet coffee, but this was our solution for getting away from buying all those like international delights and stuff like that. So yeah, grab yourself a coffee or hot chocolate, soda, water, boba, whatever you want. Go on, grab it. Let's sit down. Let's do some knitting. If you want to knit while you watch, I totally encourage that. It's one of my favorite things to do. I wanted to say thank you to all the people that did subscribe to my channel. I was completely blown away. I was thinking I would be happy if I got just a couple of subscribers, just because I do have a couple friends that I had like told about that I was going to be doing this, and so I kind of expected maybe them to subscribe, but then I got more than that, and you guys, like, you know how to make a lady feel special. So thank you for being so welcoming, and I'm very excited to do my episode 2 and more. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Here's a picture of my Molly. She is a border collie crossed with a German Shepherd, and also crossed with an Akbash. Not a lot of people know what an Akbash is, but it's basically like a tall, skinny husky. From what I've seen in photos, she's very sweet. She loves me, our child, and my husband, and that's about it. And then, ding! This is Cody. He is a rescue. We got him from a rescue society here in Alberta. We actually came up with the name Kodiak, like a Kodiak bear, but we just call him Cody, or Cody Butt, or Fluff Butt, or he goes by many, many names. But yeah, he just turned 2, and he is just like the sweetest squishy boy. I tried really hard to make sure that he was my kid's dog and not my dog, but yeah, I tried, but he's my dog. Don't tell my kid. I really tried. We totally purchased Cody to be theirs, but it is what it is. Now that I've kind of given a little bit more of a background into who I am and the people and the fur babies in my life that I love, let's get into some knitting stuff. So first of all, let's talk about some finished objects. So the first of all is I made my husband a Musselburgh hat. So the Musselburgh is by Ysolda Teague, and the pattern is available on Ravelry, and it is a paid for pattern. I actually made it out of worsted weight yarn. Here it is, right here. I made it out of worsted weight yarn. It was the yarn that I actually made his Montrealer hoodie out of. I just had so much of it left over. Like here, actually, I still have part of a ball here. Like I have tons of it still. So he really wanted a hat. I took a toque that he really liked. It was actually a It's a Zelda toque, yeah. And I figured out how long that one was from crown to the halfway mark, because it had quite a thick folded brim, and that's what he wanted. So I measured exactly that. So here it is, in all its glory. So this is the one where you take the one end and you kind of put it inside the other end, okay? And then you get to wear it. So I made it quite long for him. He has a smaller head than I do, so it doesn't fit exactly the same, but that's okay. So you could wear it up here and have like a little bit of a slouch. I've seen a lot of people wearing it that way, but he wanted it so that you could fold it, because he prefers more of a like fitted to your head kind of style. So that's what I gave him. So the crown is right up against the head, and he absolutely loves it. Keeps his head super warm, because this is Estelle yarns. It's 100% wool, and it's just the worsted weight. I had purchased it at the Fiber Nook in Edmonton, and yeah, he absolutely loves this. I give this pattern a 10 out of 10. I have made, I want to say 3 Musselburghs now. So yes, if you're looking for a really simple hat pattern, like, get it. Like, you can't go wrong with the Musselburgh. So yeah, that's that one. Okay, and then I only have one other finished object, so this is going to be a considerably shorter episode than the one I did a couple weeks ago. And here they are right here. They are, the pattern is Vanilla 6 on 9-inch circular, and it's by written by the Crazy Sock Lady. So I love how these socks worked out. I did the 64 stitches around, and then my leg is 60 rows with a 20 row 1x1 ribbing cuff, and then I did the heel flap and turn with the gusset, and then the foot, I have a small foot. I have like a size 6.5 to a 7 foot, so I only have to do 55 rows here, and that's what I did. And then I did the toe. But the yarn is by K-Zip Knits, and it's on their Garibaldi fingering, which is, where do I have it? Yes, here it is, K-Zip Knits, Garibaldi fingering, and it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the colorway is Polar Vortex. And here's what I had, a couple dog hairs. This is what I had for the extra yarn. Are those colors fun? Like that, I just went bananas for this yarn. Those are them, and now I'm so excited to wear them. Like, they literally just finished blocking. So yeah, I'm gonna put those on later on today. I'm so excited to wear them. So yeah, those are all of my finished objects. I've gotten quite a bit of progress done on my whips though, so I'm gonna show those to you now. So first of all, I do have 2 other socks on the go, so I'll show you both of those for now. So this one here, I'll put the completed one, because both of these have one that's already finished. So I'll put the completed one on the blocker, because then you can kind of see where I'm going. Okay, so here is one completed sock. This is for my husband, and here is where I got to yesterday. So last night we actually went to the movies, and I brought this with me because it was just vanilla knitting. And then somehow along the way, I did a couple extra yarn overs. And so by the end, the one side of the sock had the 32 stitches, but then the other side was up to like 34. So when I got home, I had to rip it back. But it is what it is. My hands were busy. I was fine. So yeah, so that's how far I am on this one. His formula. So this is the same pattern. This is the vanilla sock on 9-inch circular by Crazy Sock Lady. It's, I believe, $2 US on Ravelry. The link for everything that I mention, it will be down below. All of the patterns, all the yarns, all the anything else that I talk about, I'll try my best to link it down below. But yeah, this his pattern, I do the same. I do the 20 row 1x1 rib, 60 row leg, and then heel flap, turn, and gusset. And then his foot, because he's a man, so he has bigger feet. I actually do a 65 row foot and then the toe. So I'm almost to the point here, yeah, of being able to do the heel flap and turn on this sock. So very excited for that. This yarn I purchased at a store called Statement Junkie, and the yarn is by Chopel, and it's the Zauberball Crazy. And this colorway is Domino 2100. So yeah, and it's a sock base. So it's 75% superwash, so virgin wool, and then 25% nylon. So yeah, I really like that one. It has a really kind of a rustic feel to it, but the fact that it has the nylon in there, it'll give it that strength so that my husband doesn't wear through them too quickly. So yeah. Oh, and I'll show you the ball. I love it. It comes in like a gobstopper ball. No, I did not roll or wrap this ball myself. That's how they come, in all the different colorways. So it's kind of fun to work through each chunk on the ball. That kind of serves as motivation for me. That's my personality type. So I'll throw that over there. And then I'll show you the second sock, because I may as well just do both socks at the same time. So this one, once again, I'll put on a sock blocker because I have one completed. So this one I actually cast on yesterday morning because I knew I was going to the movies last night. And I wanted to be able to work on the top part of it. And I think I overdid it a little. I only had to do 32 rows. But I think I went a little bit further. But here is the pattern I'm doing. Okay, it is the Totally Rad Ribbed Socks by Summerlee Design Co. The pattern is available once again on Ravelry, and it is a paid-for pattern. So here is where I am at on the second sock. So before we went to the movie, I had placed this blue marker. Because that was 16 rows, and basically I had to do like 32 rows, and so I was like, okay, when I fold it in half, like, then once it's like this is in the middle, then I know to stop knitting in the dark at the movie. But I think I went a few rows beyond, but that's okay. I can just take the needle out, frog back, and then continue with the pattern as it is written. The yarns I am using, so the purple, here it is. It is by To The Max Yarn Co. And it's their fingering weight. It's 80% superwash, 20% nylon. And it's superwash merino, I should say. And I don't see a colorway. But yeah, that's that one. And then the gray color is. This is by Manos del Uruguay Alegria, and it's superwash merino and polyamide, and the colorway is silver. I'm also using this in another pattern, so this is only half the skein. I actually split it because it worked so well for two separate projects. And I'm going to show you a little mini fail. So I have already made a couple of Knitty Natty's yarn cozies, and this one, I just wasn't paying attention. I forgot to do the decreases at the very end before like you do your I-cord. So it like just kind of like flares out. But I don't care. It still holds on to my yarn. It still looks cute. It's just leftover yarn from the socks I talked about in the last episode as a finished object. But yeah. So that is the last pair of socks I'm going to share with you today. So the next project, it's in that handy dandy reusable Christmas gift bag that I got from HomeSense, is the wilderness sweater that I'm making for my kid. So just to remember, the yarn I'm using is Natur Old. I got it off of Hobie. So these are the three colors that I'll be using. It's very rustic, it's unspun, it's lovely, but oh, this is gonna be a mess to take out. Okay, that's okay. I finished one sleeve. There you go. It's chunky because I left the leftover yarn inside. I didn't actually tie it off. So yeah, or cut it off, I should say. So there's one sleeve. And then in here I have the body. And I have it just kind of capped off. I have it left on my stitch, my needle cord. So there's the body, one sleeve, and I have started on the second sleeve. Started on the second sleeve, really not that far in. So the modifications I'm making on this is I am not doing the collarwork section on the bottom of the sleeves as well as around just above the ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. That's because I don't think I purchased enough of the gray, or I'm sorry, the black or the cream. So I'm just getting rid of those, and I'm just going to do the collarwork that's up at the top. And then that way, fingers crossed, I do have enough yarn for everything for this project. This pattern was a paid for pattern, and it is called the Wilderness Sweater. I got it on Ravelry, and it is by Linka Neumann, Neumann. So yes, I'm gonna shove that back into the bag. So yeah, I'm getting very excited to have this one done. So I just have to, yeah, finish that sleeve, and then I can join all three pieces. Once I'll double check the measurements on everything, but then I'll be able to join, and then I can start on the color work and going up towards the neck and then doing the neckline, and then she's done. So I'm very excited to get that done for my kiddo because they are very excited to have it. I'm actually making it in a size that will fit me because my 11-year-old is already about as tall as me. I'm only 5'4". They are almost 5'2". They wear bigger shoes than I do already, so they definitely have taken over from their father's side when it comes to things like height, or like they have really long legs. I have short little legs, so they definitely take after their dad's side on things like that. So I always say you're gonna look like either your aunt or your uncle or one of them. Like, you're gonna be so tall. So yeah. And then the last one, the last whip that I have, oh, let me brush it off, I am keeping in my lone Larch bag. It has mushrooms all over it, and it has this great little suede handle. This is out of the Seamless Knit Sweaters in 2 Weeks book by Greene. This was actually a Christmas gift I got last year. So not the Christmas that just happened, but the one before in 2021 from my husband. So this is the Riverbank cropped pullover. There she is wearing it. So totally gorgeous. I'll show you what I have. So last time you saw it, I was right here where the donut is. So you see my little donut marker? So after I finished filming the last episode, I went and I picked up the neckline and I finished the neckline. And now so that means I also have this sleeve and that sleeve done. And I had said that I wanted to be able to make the body as long as possible. So if you look at the image on the book, this repeat, there's 6 complete of these cables, these loops, 6 of them. I am going to do, I think, 7, if not 8. I do still have quite a bit of yarn left to be able to make that happen. I had shortened the sleeves. That's one modification I did. I shortened the sleeves so it didn't end like here, so like 3/4. I made it so it ended like the end of the ribbing ended right where my elbow bends, and I did that so that I could then make the body as long as possible. I'm thinking I didn't have to do that, but that's fine. I really do like the way that the sleeves are fitting, so I'll just keep that as is. But I am so excited to wear this. This yarn, it's by Serdar, and it's called Flirt, and it's their double knitting yarn. and it is 80% bamboo sourced viscose and 20% wool. And this one, it's a shade 219, but honestly, I don't know if they even still make this yarn. It could be discontinued, but I love it. It just has like this sheen to it, and the stitch definition that you get when you're working with it, even in simple stockinette, is just so nice. So yeah, that is that sweater, and I'm like super duper excited to be able to wear it. If I could wear it for Valentine's Day, yeah, that would make me really, really happy. So that's just less than a month away. I can do it. I can wear this for Valentine's Day. I'm gonna make it happen. That's a goal. That's a goal for me. I'm very excited. Take a sip of your coffee. So that's it for active whips that I am actually working on. Like in my giant bucket, this is where I keep all my projects in the living room. I have like this giant bucket. I got this at, is either Winners or HomeSense, and I just kind of pile them all in here in their own individual project bags. Like I do still have in here is that the Stephen West Twists and Turns Twists and Turns shawl, but I haven't touched it. I'm not gonna lie, I never even opened the bag, so I'm not gonna take that out because there's no point. There's been no progress, so I'll show it to you when there's something worthwhile showing. But I wanted to bring out this guy. Last episode I had said, man, I missed a project, but I'm not gonna go get it. I lied, there were two. Okay, so this first one has been sitting by my office when I work from home. Like some days I work from home, some days I work in the office, but mostly I work from home. We had stayed in an Airbnb last summer in BC, and this woman had this amazing like giant granny square just throw, and it was just one giant rectangle granny square. Like this person had just like basically made a really long chain and then started granny squaring around it, and then they just kept on going, and it just grew and grew and grew. So it wasn't a bunch of squares like done together. It's just one giant granny square. So I was like, I have like creams and whites and browns. I want to do that, and I want to make it for my bed. I'm going to show you the right side. But so this is what I started. So here's the center, you can kind of see. Like I'm not gonna be able to show it all to you because it's just so big, but it does change. I'll go to a corner. It does change colors. So right here you can see is like the white, right? And then it goes into, right here is kind of like this cream color. And then I got into this tan color. All of this is just acrylic, nothing special. The white I had gotten from like a yarn wholesaler a long time ago, and I just happened to have a whole bunch of it. The cream was something I had left over from just from Michael's, and then this color, which is the color I'm working on now, I actually got it from Michael's too. But here it is. I like to cake up my yarn even though it came in like a ball. But yeah, so I'm basically gonna go with this one until I run out of yarn, and this is how much yarn I have left. So maybe a few more rounds, maybe 4 or 5 times around that blanket, and then I'll be able to weave in all my ends and then wash it, and she's done. So I'm very excited for that because this is huge. Like this could probably fit like a king size bed. I picked up my sock blocker with it. Oh no. There we go. Okay. So that is that big blanket. I want this to be for our master bedroom. I would love to have that, yeah, on our bed. I think it'd be really pretty. Really classic and simple, really clean looking. I think it would just be really nice. So yeah. And then, sorry if that's noisy, I have these colors. So once again, just basic acrylic yarn. I cannot remember the last time I touched this project. But I started making all these. They're like a granny square, but they're not a granny square. They have flowers. So I started doing all these different combinations. So like that. Started doing like that. That's the same one. There's another one. So yeah, I just started doing all these different combinations with the 3 colors, and then I was going to join them to make it look perfectly random, you know. I honestly can't remember where the pattern came from for this. I think I might, like, I'll lift it up. This is just like an IKEA bag. But like, it is full of squares. This thing is like chocker-box full of squares. So I just have to figure out what I think would be my preferred technique for joining them, because it's kind of like a lacy edge on those. And then maybe, I think it would be really nice in my living room, maybe thrown over the back of my couch or something like that. But yeah, those are all of my whips. So like I said, this will definitely be shorter than last week's or 2 weeks ago. Take another sip. Okay, so after whips, I wanted to talk about a couple of upcoming project ideas or things that are kind of rolling through my head. My child has asked for me to make them a stuffy. The pattern looks a lot like the wolf that I had made for them, but this one, it's a fox. And I'll be using that chenille blanket yarn again, just like I had for the bumblebee. So I think I'll be going with them to the craft store today. They actually went for a sleepover last night at their at my mother-in-law's house. So I think afterwards maybe we'll go to Michael's and get that, because there's another project that I wanted to toy with the idea on. And I think if I just say it and I just put it out there into the knitting universe, then I kind of have to do it, you know? Do you know what I mean? So I have always wanted one of those round, is it a bolster? It's like a cylindrical pillow, but it's like long. I want to make one of those, but I want to do it temperature. So everyone goes bananas for making these temperature blankets, and I really, really do like that idea, but some of these blankets just would turn out being so big, or the stitch count that is needed for each day at the beginning seems completely reasonable, but then when you go to do it every day, or then you get behind by a few days, then it actually becomes quite a bit to catch up on. And I don't want to do that to myself. I was on Instagram and someone had shared a reel. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to credit who posted it, but it was really, really cool. And they had made a temperature snake. So it was like an amigurumi snake, but each time around like the body of the snake was one day of the year and the temperature. So I want to do that, but not a snake. I want to do that on a bolster pillow for my bed. I think I'll make both ends, so the circles on each side. I want to make those one color, so maybe like a white or something. And then I think I want to do shades of maybe blue, going from like dark blue to white as all of my temperatures. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I will be doing mine under it's at Mardeana Knits, but I'll use the hashtag temperature pillow, because I'm not sure if bolster is the right word, but yeah, hashtag temperature pillow, and I will keep an eye out for that too if you decide to follow along on this idea. If it's just me in my lonesome, that's totally fine too, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Another one I actually wanted to ask for your recommendations on, so if you have recommendations for them for this, please put it down below. I'm gonna grab the yarn. Okay, I had made that big purchase at Hobie, and I had purchased enough to make sure that I would get free shipping because it's coming from Denmark. So yeah, so I kind of threw these 2 extra balls of yarn on there. And it's called New Sky Light, and it's by Mayflower Yarns. It's 35% alpaca, 35% wool, 35% alpaca, 35% wool, 30% nylon. And it's a 50-gram ball, 300 meters. And I got 2 colors. They just have numbers. This is number 78. But I loved, when I unboxed this, I absolutely loved it. So on camera, it's coming across a bit more like true blue than it is. It's more of a sea foamy, like greeny blue, but then it has this white cording on the inside, so it almost looks like a kid silk mohair, but it's not. Like, there's no silk, there's no mohair, but I love that halo-y effect. And then the white, which is shade color 61, it's the same thing. Like, it has that white cording in the middle, and then it's just like halo. And I just thought it was so pretty. So I was thinking of making socks with these, 2 pairs of shorty socks. So I was thinking maybe a white pair with blue heel, cuff, and toe, like just a short little cuff, you know, and then the opposite, like a blue sock then with a white heel, cuff, and toe. And then do you remember, like, back in the 80s, early 90s, I'm gonna age myself here, those socks that have like the little pom-pom in the back of the heel and it would just stick out the back of your sneaker? I still think that's adorable, even though I'm almost a 40-year-old woman. I think that's adorable, and if I could maybe find a pattern that was something like that, that would be great. So if you're watching this and you have made shorty socks that you thought were just so cutesy, let me know. Even if they don't have that pom-pom detail, I can always add that on myself. Like, that's no big. But if you have recommendations for adorable shorty sock patterns that would be good with slightly fluffy, like, it's not really fluffy, but just a little bit fluffy yarn, I would absolutely love your recommendations. So please let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. I'll just throw those over onto my spare bed. So yeah, that was it for like future projects on things that are kind of like rolling around in my brain. Those socks, I'm not going to start until I finish these other socks, and I have another pair that's already partially started, so I'm not going to be getting started on these immediately. But I'm feeling really good about the progress that I am making on my whips. Last week I had put a whole bunch into hibernation. They're actually sitting right over there. And that's fine, because I'm down in my basement, in my craft room. This is a room that I feel safe putting my stuff into because we do have animals in my home. So I store everything in here. I keep the door for this room closed. And then that way it stays as hair-free, and, you know, they can't come in and start chewing on things or like sniffing around. So it makes I feel totally safe having all my stuff down here. So that's why I put all my hibernated whips down here, because I know that they're going to be safe and they're not in my vision, because everything else, like I had said, I keep in this basket upstairs beside the couch, and that's where I keep all of my current whips. And I find if it fits into this basket, then it's not that overwhelming. So to think about the fact that I have all these projects in the go. And that's where I was prior to my first episode. I just felt like I was overcommitted, overstretched. I needed to just not have so much like right there in my space. So thank you for going through that with me last week and doing the whole hibernation process, because it has definitely paid off. I am making big progress on some of these other projects that I'm working on. The fact that I have these 2 finished objects, it feels great. What else do I want? Oh, what I'm wearing. Isn't this so cute? So it says Knitter, and it's just a basic black hoodie or black sweatshirt covered in dog hair, as is everything else I own. But yeah, it's just a basic black crew neck. I bought it at the Spring Fiber Frolic last year from Ginger Snap. I will link them down below. My friend from my knitting group that I have joined, she actually wound up buying the exact same one at the Fall Fiber Frolic, and I kind of encouraged her to do that. But I had just bought my knitting needle set prior to purchasing this, and this literally matches my knitting needles perfectly. Like the shade of copper right here, like the camera's showing it more gold, this is more of a pinky copper color right here. Like it just matches my knitting needles themselves perfectly. So like I couldn't, and it wasn't that much money, so it was a good deal, and I wear it all the time and I love it. And if people are like, oh, what are you crocheting, I could be like, I'm knitting. I do crochet, but when I'm wearing my knitter sweater, I'm knitting. So the next things I wanted to talk about are my acquisitions. One I wanted to talk about that I actually forgot to mention last week. My husband got me this at Christmas, and it's called a Bink waffle. Let me see, there's the tag. Bink waffle. And it's just to hold like your cake of yarn. Just like a yarn cozy. I have used it for, I was using it for the Polar Vortex socks, my finished object socks. Yeah, this one. I had used it to house the yarn for that, and it worked great. As the cake itself started to deflate, this like held on to it really good. The yarn management, like nothing got too tangled as it came out. Or, you know, like sometimes with some of these, the edges will start to like pop out on the side, and then the outer layer of the cake itself starts to get tangled before you even get to it. I really did actually enjoy this one. So yeah, that is that one acquisition. The next one is actually a very small purchase. I got it at just at the dollar store, and it cost me a whole $1.25, and I got 12 of them. Washi tape. So most of my patterns that I use are on Ravelry, and then for the longest time, I'm not gonna show too much, I'm not gonna show the pattern itself, but for the longest time I was using like a post-it, and then after a while it loses its stickiness, whereas the washi tape, like you can take it off and put it back on over and over and over, and then just to keep one little roll, like it's tiny, right? Like I just keep this one little roll in my project bag, or in where I keep my notions, I mean, and then I just always have it, and I can always just rip off another piece. And then it's also solid colored, so like it's a lot easier to see exactly where you are in the chart or in the pattern. So this, game changer, okay? For a whole $1.25. I took all the colors that I liked the look of and kept them for myself. All the other ones I didn't like the oranges and the like neon greens, I gave those to my kid, and they can do crafting. Do whatever they want with those, because I really don't care. The next thing I purchased, I got from Yarn Divas, which is a yarn store in St. Albert, and it's by Twill and Print Fiber Studio, and it's just a little progress marker, progress keeper, tracker. Can you? Yarnaholic. Can you see that? Isn't that cute? So yeah, it was my friend's birthday, and she's also a knitter, and I went in and I was buying her some like stitch markers, and I actually got her this as well. I got hers in like the green color. It was like a sagey green color, and then I got myself the pink one, but I just thought it was like adorable, and it's like totally fitting. Yarnaholic, and then it has 2 skeins of yarn on there, and it's pink and it's gold and it's pretty, so I couldn't help myself. So she got birthday presents, I got a little something from me, so because sometimes you have to treat yourself. And then This might get noisy. Okay. And then that same friend, a few weeks ago actually messaged me. Both her and I are fans of Kutova Kika. If you have not heard of her, she is a knitwear pattern designer, and she designed a pattern book. Well, a whole bunch of different patterns in this book, and the book is called Knit This. So here it is. It's gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. There she is on the back. That's actually one of the sweaters. So I have been watching her for a long time. She posts all the time on Instagram about her whole pattern design process. She also like shares a lot about her life. She has a way of speaking where like you're just engaged. Like I am not a photographer, but she has a lot of videos about doing like photography or keeping up your creativity in that kind of a space, and I will watch those videos just because she's so engaging. I love the way that she speaks. She's warm, she's kind, she speaks very gently, and the things that she says like are like big aha moments, and it's like, why didn't I think of that? So I want to get better at obviously my photography, so I think I'm going to pay a bit more attention to some of like her flat lay tutorials that she has and things. But this book I'm so excited to have as an acquisition. My friend Sydney also ordered a copy. She basically messaged me saying that she had found a store that carried it and they were having a Boxing Day sale, so she asked me if I wanted to get in on it because then we could split the shipping to get it out here towards Western Canada. And I am very, very excited to have this. Where is my husband? Opened it up and he immediately knew which one I wanted to make first. There it is. Let me cover that up. It's called the Bubblegum Sweater. And I remember watching her as she was doing like the design process on this on YouTube. But it's just like so cute. And she has a lot of really pretty patterns on here. If you don't follow her, you should. She also had gone through the process of knitting her own wedding dress last summer or fall. And it was absolutely gorgeous. Chances are if you are involved in knitting community on Instagram, you probably saw it because it did go quite viral, her wedding dress and that whole process. But yeah, that's all of my acquisitions. I'm very excited to have this in my book collection. So yeah, thank you Sydney for including me in on that. And then, oh, I did actually have one other totally non-knitting related acquisition. I am really good at drinking coffee, like really, really, really good. I could drink it all day, but I have to also focus on my water intake. So I actually got myself a new water bottle. It's Takea. I got it at Winners, but I was watching The Circle on Netflix and I saw that there were a few of them also drinking out of this exact same water bottle. And I was like, oh, I'm cool like The Circle people. Just kidding. But yeah, so I bought that and then we went to a flea market in the city and I decided to buy myself a sticker. I love Princess Peach. I love Nintendo. My husband does too. I actually used to work at a video game company a number of years ago, but oh, I'll have to stand up to show it to you. Here is my tattoo that I have with my husband. So I have that, and then that's on my right arm. On his left arm, he has the matching Mario. So then when we hold hands, like if my right hand is holding his left hand, then Peach and Mario are right beside each other. It's quite nerdy. We know it. We're okay with it. But yeah, that's our couple's tattoo. We've had these tattoos for a number of years now, so I think we made a good choice there. Yeah, so that's everything I have for acquisitions. Next, I just wanted to briefly just touch on things that I have been watching and or doing. I'll grab my coffee. So, last week we took my kid and their friend to the theater and we went and we saw the new Puss in Boots movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. Usually when a movie or when a franchise gets this many movies in, they just turned to garbage. They changed the voice actors. The animation isn't at the same quality. The jokes don't hit as funny. That's not the case with this one. It was friggin' hilarious. It was really well done. The voice actors are exactly the same. There's a dog in this one, so it was really well done. We really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend that you also go and see it. Even if you don't have children to like go and see it with, it's gonna be just as funny along the lines as like a Shrek movie, which I always found to be quite hilarious. So that one was great. And then last night, my husband and I, we dropped our kid off at my mother-in-law's house, and then we went on a date. So we went out for dinner at, where did we go? Brown's Social House, which is just kind of like, just a regular North American restaurant. So lots of pastas, burgers, wings, lots of fancy like sides and drinks and stuff. I got myself some fish tacos, and they were like so good. Exactly what I need, my belly wanted. My husband got he got like a Asian like beef noodle bowl thing, and he thought it was really good. And then we went and we saw the new Avatar. What was it called? I wrote it down. Avatar: The Way of Water. The night before, we actually sat down and rewatched the original one. We saw that in theaters forever ago when it had first come out. We saw that in IMAX, yeah. So yeah, we went and we saw this new one. We did not see it in 3D. Both my husband and I wear glasses, and so 3D movies tend to be a bit of a pain for him, at least. But I really wanted the recliner seats, so we searched and searched until we found a theater that it was just a regular show, no 3D, but it also had the recliner seats. So we both got the best of what we wanted. The movie itself was really good. I had heard another person's review on it, and they did not seem to enjoy it. But I am the type of person where you can go ahead and tell me something's going to be garbage. I'm going to make my own opinion of it. I really don't care. And that's what I did, and I enjoyed it. I think as a mother, this one kind of hits a little bit differently. There's a lot more like family stuff going on with it. But the animation, like the CGI that goes into it, has like come a long way. And I remember watching the first one and being blown away with how amazing the CGI on that was. But this one, like, it's really good, and I'm actually really excited for the next one to come out. So once again, if you're looking for a good movie to go and see, I would totally recommend that one. It is long. It's like a 3-hour movie, but it was really good. And both my husband and I, we enjoyed it, and the ending was really good. So yeah. And then other than that, I haven't been reading anything. I do want to get back into reading a bit more again. I have a couple books upstairs, so maybe I'll go through them and pick one out that maybe I could read while I knit. I've never done audiobooks. I do enjoy like audio podcasts. I mostly listen to like true crime podcasts, and I do really enjoy those. But I want to get more into stories again. And I always really did enjoy reading. As a kid, I read a lot of like V.C. Andrews. A lot. Maybe that's why I like true crime so much. If you know, you know. V.C. Andrews. So yeah. But I want to get into reading a bit more again. My husband has gotten me a couple of books. My kid at Christmas, they took their own money to this, like, it was like a book fair, but it was all like used books. And for $1, they bought me this, like, it's like a little romance novel, but it's like a preteen romance novel. Oh, I just thought it was the cutest thing. They were so proud to have spent their own money and put their own gift under the tree for me. Like, they had help wrapping it or whatever, but like, even my husband had no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea. Like, they had done it completely independently and they were so excited for it. So I just thought it was the cutest thing. And so I think I'll wind up reading it, but it's like this thick. Like, it's just like a little tiny novella essentially. So I'll do that. But other than that, I have been watching a lot of knitting podcasts, as per usual. One I wanted to give a shout out to is actually my friend Sydney's. She's really into eco-friendly clothing. She sews her own clothes. She's been knitting for quite some time. She loves doing research into textiles and how they impact our environment. And she is absolutely wonderful. Her podcast is called Adventure Fiber Works. I'll link it down below. If you're looking for someone who also is in Alberta, so another Canadian, she's great. She has been knitting for about as long as I have. She'll talk about weaving, about sewing, about how she wants to get into like owning a sheep farm one day, things like that. So yeah, I highly recommend her. She also talks about her travels because she does like to travel, and she's fun. And I knit with her. She's my friend. So yeah, give her a look. Two other ones that I really like, I'll just touch on real quick. One of them is We Share Needles. Their names are Kristen and Maddie. If you're looking for a good podcast with a couple of ladies that have a great sense of humor, check them out. They are We Share Needles. And then the last one I wanted to touch on, her name is ROX. So ARO space X. She's a lawyer and she is like the fastest knitter that you will have ever seen. She can do like multiple sweaters in a month. I don't know how she does it, but she's amazing. She's a great at advocating for mental health. She talks about her own struggles openly and I think beautifully and honestly. So if you're looking for someone that feels like you're just catching up with a friend, she's a great one to go and check out. So that's that. And then other than that, I guess I'll just give you a little bit of some life talk. Routine is starting to get back to normal after the Christmas, New Year's chaos, and it feels really good. My kid is back in school. I'm back to my regular weekly schedule. My husband is also back to his regular weekly schedule. Like even my dogs, it kind of felt like they were starting to get out of sorts with everybody being off their regular weekly schedule. So I'm very happy to have that back. And and I think that my whole family is honestly benefiting because of it. I'm really just working on keeping myself organized. I actually started doing this thing where I'm keeping track of all of my projects on their own individual like index cards. I think that that's going to be a great way for me to keep track of things and to actually really see how fast I'm able to do things. So I'm going to keep track of like the pattern, the yarn, cast on date, cast off date, needle size, modifications, thoughts and feelings on the project, things like that. So my mind feels really comfortable when things are organized, or if they aren't organized, if there's a plan. And that's what I've been creating for myself. And it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm not just kind of like working into the abyss. It makes me feel like I'm working towards a goal. And I am very much a goal-oriented person, which I think is why I craft so much. I think that's why my brain, it feels cozy when I'm following a pattern or I'm figuring out the math for a particular project, like that bolster temperature pillow thing that I'm talking about. Like, my brain is going to enjoy figuring that out, doing the math on it. I know how to do the circles on the side. That's totally easy. Crocheting a magic circle, I got it. But just figuring out, you know, the stitch count to go around and how long the bolster is going to wind up being, my brain's going to really enjoy figuring that out. I can understand if you think that that is odd or weird, because I know a lot of people would be like, ugh, I don't want to, you do it for me. I don't want to figure that out. You do that for me. So yeah, so I have really enjoyed creating this video for you. I am really enjoying starting to see my little corner of this community grow, and I love the fact that so many of you have been accepting of me as a podcaster. I know that there are a lot of us out there, but honestly, I think that there's always room for more. You know, we all have different styles. If I'm not your style, you'll find someone else who is. Or maybe you're discovering my channel and you're like, wow, this chick is someone that I could imagine myself going to a knit night with. Like, I want to subscribe and follow what she's doing. So, you know, maybe I am that perfect fit for your corner of the internet. And I think that that's a great thing. That there's so many of us wanting to share about our crafting, and so many of us wanting to encourage other people to join us. That sounds like a cult. Join us. Come do the fiber things. Come on. No, don't join a cult. Call your dad. But yeah, so on that note, I just wanted to kind of introduce this little tiny video that my husband's going to edit in here. This is actually a video I just found this morning. It's a little clip that I took last summer when I was camping at a lake with my parents. I actually got to tent all by myself. My husband wasn't able to join, and my kid was in a tent, like away from mine with their cousins, so I was completely by myself. And so this clip is just one of those perfect mornings. Okay, like, it was just absolutely serene, and I am looking forward to my parents renting this space again this summer. And if I could spend all of July and August doing what you're about to see, I would. So on that note, have yourself a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. Thank you for listening to me ramble about all the things I have made, are making, will be making. And thank you for those who have subscribed. If you haven't, I would love it if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel, and then maybe even head on over to Instagram and give me a follow there at Mardeana Knits. So it has been great catching up with you all, and I hopefully will have another video out for you within the next few weeks here. Maybe I'll be done a couple of these big projects I just got done showing you, but yes, it's been great. Thank you for joining me here. Have yourself a great day and enjoy your crafting. Bye.